Whew. Okay. I mean, it's awkward, isn't it? I've got 20 minutes up here and I've just spent vital moments of it saying absolutely frickin' nothing. But how many of us have done that in our lives? How many of us have taken that moment and thought, I won't make that call at the moment, I'll just wait? That have thought, you know what, I won't close that deal, I don't want to be too pushy. That have thought, I'm not going to send that email, I'll do it later. For whatever reason, whether it be a confidence of character or a moment of thinking, oh shit, I can't do that. So I am going to say something. I'm going to say something. So first of all, my name is Will Pretsell, and don't let that first bit fool you. I am incredibly confident. You will hear that as you listen on. Okay. To make an apology straight away, this is the first time that I've done this specific speech, and but it is great. I mean, it's probably not the best speech in the world, but it is definitely worth your time and effort. Okay? Oh, fucking hell. Okay. I need help here. I need help from you lot, because if I don't say anything, I miss out, and if I do say something, I make things worse. So how do I be more confident in this stage? What do I do? How do I make myself better? Shout out, tell me, what do I do? Stand still, thank you very much. Okay, right. Stand still.
Imagine us all naked.
Imagine you all naked. Don't look at me like that, Atif. Okay. Smile. Thank you. Yeah, okay, smile. Should I put on some airs and graces? Should I do something else? What should I? Just be myself. Just be myself. Okay, it's funny. Be yourself is one of the core values at YAB. In fact, it's the first one. Be yourself. Every month there are no fewer than 5 slides in the YAB slide deck that talk about being yourself, sharing more of who you are, being yourself, being more confident in who you are, and being yourself. But there is a problem, and it's something that I've seen in many YAB meetings and lots of masterminds. You see, the world seems obsessed with us being ourselves, our true, authentic selves. But the problem titles this speech, Who the fuck is my authentic self, and why is everybody so obsessed with him? Because we are not necessarily who we want to be. There's a great story that Jason Manford says. He says, decides he's not going to uni, he's going to go on a gap year. And he goes to broach the situation with his dad. He says, Dad, I'm not going to uni, I'm going backpacking. He says, where? He says, Australia. He says, why? He says, I want to go and find myself. And his dad says, what if you find him and he's a knobhead too? You see, there are so many barriers to us just being ourselves, and being a knobhead is just one of them. We are all different people with different groups of friends. I am very different with you as I am with my kids. If I wasn't, I'd have spent a lot more time outside these toilets going, you did a poo! Well done! High five! Oh, you washed your hands? No, you only get a high five when you've washed your hands. Go back in there. Go on, Kerry, you dirty little shit. We are always different people with different individuals. And it's really important to understand why. Because it is quite stressful sometimes when you stand up in front of a group of people and you think, Who am I? What am I going to be today? Why should I change myself? Put your hands up if you've ever been in a situation. Maybe it's a networking event, maybe it was a setting, and you just felt a bit uncomfortable. You weren't dressed right. You weren't the right kind of person. Okay. For those that put their hands up today, I'm speaking directly to you. For those that didn't, just know that everybody else in this room now hates you and everything that your overconfident R stands for. No, for the rest of you, I want you to put in your mind someone who you know to be great. You see their greatness on a daily basis. You know that they deserve better, but they don't see it in themselves. So, I'm going to introduce you to 3 simple steps to increase your confidence, to make you a more confident person. I don't know why I put that down. And they are this: understand, act, and become. I said they were simple, but please do not confuse that with easy or quick. These are not easy or quick. They take time, they take effort, and most importantly, they take a hell of a lot of courage. Now, first we have to understand ourselves. We have to understand our character and who we are and what is important to us. Now, there is no doubt that who we are is made up, quite a lot, by nature. Our DNA sets us out from the beginning. The way our hormones are released in our body, those happy hormones, like dopamine, oh, amazing dopamine, and oxytocin, that love drug, and those negative ones like adrenaline and cortisol, the way that those come into your system is going to change who you are and how you react to things. And although nature does have a hand in it, the vast majority of what makes us who we are is nurtured by experience. You see, even at childhood, just like that, the way in which we experience the world actually changes the way that our brain processes the information from our DNA. And as we grow, we find different ways of dealing with the effects of those happy and sad and those panic hormones. And it creates what we are. We will all meet people, have experiences, and do things that will change who we are through our life. Some of them will be positive, some of them will be negative, some of them might even be traumatic. But we have to understand what they do. So, when we think about understanding ourselves, we have to understand what our belief systems are. You see, those experiences will change the way in which we believe ourselves to be something. And once we have a belief, that belief then changes our attitudes towards the world, towards people, towards relationships. That attitude then informs our behaviors to those people, those experiences, those relationships. And those attitudes and behaviors then change the outcomes of those experiences. And in a reinforcing cycle, those outcomes then inform our beliefs. And it starts the whole process all over again. Now, if that's positive, great. You're having these outcomes that are amazing. I can see that, I'm a winner. It comes back to here, the belief system. Yes, I'm a winner. Your attitudes go, I can do anything. And then your behaviors go, I'm going to go and do it. I'm just going to get on with it and do it. And then the outcomes become positive. And there's a great cycle. If they're negative, that can lead you down a whole path. Sometimes they are positive, but it doesn't lead us back. Put your hand up. If you have ever had a meeting or you've done something great and somebody says, oh, that was amazing, that was brilliant, but you didn't really believe them. Yeah, there's a few knowing nods and a few hands up. Now, in the modern day, if that happens over and over and over again, we start to call that imposter syndrome. Now, imposter syndrome is not just one feeling, and it's not actually even a syndrome. It's just a thought pattern, a way in which your body and your mind processes information. And it's not just one of them, it comes in 5 flavors. So I'm going to ask you now to start to reflect on your own personality and look through these as I introduce them. Do you notice yourself in any of these? Now, even if you don't consider yourself to have imposter syndrome, you might find these thought patterns are reflected in your own. So, first of all, the perfectionist. You are the person that has to do everything perfectly. You have to have everything right first time, and if you don't, you are a failure. You are the person that can do an amazing, huge piece of work, and you get to the end of it, and there's one mistake, and all you can think about is that mistake. Then you've got the superhero. Has to work the hardest, has to do everything, has to be involved in everything, burns themselves through, and doesn't feel like they are worth being there unless they've put their absolute everything into it and they are the best at it. Then there's the expert, the person that needs to know every single answer to every single question before they think they are qualified. That if somebody comes to me and I am their manager and they ask me a question and I don't know, we are in trouble because they're going to realise. They're going to find out I don't know what I'm doing. Then you've got the natural genius. If I find this hard, I shouldn't be doing this because other people find this easy. And if I'm struggling with this, then I'm not in the right place. And finally, the soloist has to do everything themselves. Cannot ask for help, because asking for help is like saying that you can't do it. Is like saying that you shouldn't be there. Now, working out which one you are doesn't cure imposter syndrome, but it does do the first most powerful step, which is normalizing this. I encourage you after this speech, I would have given you time now, but I've only got a little bit of time. And I wasted it not saying anything at the beginning. Tricks. I encourage you to talk to each other. Where do you notice your thought patterns? Where do you notice that you do that? Because what you'll start to find is that everybody has these feelings in different ways. We just process them differently. And the moment we start to normalize these things, the moment we can start to move forward and understand how we get there. Now, what's important at this moment is to think, how do we deal with these negative thoughts? If that doesn't cure it, well, I've got 3 questions for you. If you've got this, and you're starting to get some of these thoughts, I just want you to ask yourself 3 questions. The first one is what I'm thinking true? Does it have a reality in what I'm thinking, or is it just an assumption? Am I making assumptions about what other people are thinking? Or is there evidence to the fact that this is a truth? Because if it isn't, you need to let it go. Second, can you control it? If you can't control it, the reality is you have no control over it, so there's no point in worrying about it. Easy for me to say, but this is what we have to ask ourselves. And third thing is, if it is true and you can control it, is it important to you? Is it really important to you? Do you really care what John from sales thinks about how you present in a pitch? Is it true? Because if you ask yourself these questions about all of those thought patterns, the vast majority of time, 99% of the time, you'll find it's not true, it's not in your control, or it's not actually that important to you. And if that's the case, you need to let it go. Now, I'm going to pause here for a second, because when I introduce this kind of thing, there is always something that happens. I'm not going to say always. There is something that happens in a lot of people's minds. And it's called the negative feedback loop. When I went through those things, you don't have to put your hand up, just a knowing look will do. How many people went, yeah, that's me? And then went, why do I do that? And now you're going, I did that, why do I do that to myself? Such a dick. keep doing this to myself. It's called the negative feedback loop. You end up in a position where you're punishing yourself for punishing yourself. You get anxious about being anxious. You get worried about being worried. Stop. It is completely and utterly natural. What is actually happening in your head is that your cortex, this bit up at the top, is your reasoning brain, and it's being hijacked by this caveman brain at the back. These amygdala are hijacking it. These amygdala are the things that dealt with bears and wolves and made sure that you were prepared for them and prepared for the danger. We don't have any bears or wolves, but your amygdala's going, still got to be danger. Like this, like some sort of meerkat. Come on, there's danger around. And what you've got to do is allow this part of your brain to ask those questions and go, shh, it's all right, mate, chill out. It's okay, don't worry about it. You'll be absolutely fine. Now, the way that we do that is to move from understanding onto acting. And this is the hardest part of it. Because I am challenging you now to actually make a change. And we cannot make a change here. I'm sorry to say that no matter how much you stand in a Tory power pose, or you look in the mirror and go, I am confident, you're not going to be confident. You cannot change your deep-seated beliefs that easily. And your beliefs are already making your attitudes concrete. They are staying. So the only thing that we can do is start here with our behaviours. We have to act, take action and say, all right, here's this circle. Nope, not going to do that anymore. Not having it. And if we say no, we can then start to act. Now, when we were talking about it before, those questions, can I control it? Is it important to me? That's what we have to find out, okay? Now, there are so many things that you can change in regards to the way that you see yourself, the world sees you, hears you, and thinks of you. So I've made it easy for you. So this is part of what we call the 5x5 framework. Okay, what I call the 5x5 framework. 5 pillars of things that you can change that the world around you sees and that you see in yourself. They are completely in your control. Nobody else's. They start with body. You can change the way in which you move. You can change the way you stand. You can change the way you gesture. The way that your face shows emotion. You can get rid of that RBF if you really start to work at it. You can change the way that you fix your gaze at people. You can stop looking down and look up. You can change that. Yes, it takes effort. Yes, it takes courage, but you can do it. Second is voice. You can change the quality of your voice. You can change the speed of your voice. You can change the emphasis that you put on different words. You can change the volume so that you have less of an effect on people when you're in the pub going, oh God, I wish he'd shut up. That's a personal reflection, by the way. Then we can change the content, the actual words that we use. We can choose to use more positive words. We can structure it in a more positive way. We can think about the content of what it is that we're saying and make sure that we have it prepared so that we don't find ourselves in a position where we go, I don't know what I'm saying. And then we can think about the intention. Now, the intention is all about the effect that you want to have on the world, how you want to change the world, how you want to work with the world, how you want to change and interact with the people around you. What is deep in here, your values of your character. And then the connection. How much time are you going to spend listening to others? Are you going to give their needs and their wants more drive and more importance? If you take these 5 pillars and you go, okay, I'm going to start to understand them and I'm going to start to control them, even in a small way. What then happens is you end up in a position, where this starts to change. Because your behaviors change, your outcomes change. Your beliefs haven't changed yet, and they're not going to change in one go. They're going to take time. The biggest thing that happens at this moment when I talk to people about this is that they go, yeah, but it's not real. I'm just acting. I mean, there's a reason I'm calling it acting. Okay? Yes, you are putting it on. When you first do it, you start putting it on. There's a lady, it's not Dr. Valerie Young, I'm going to tell you anyway. The power pose lady that the Tories took and absolutely ruined also talks about something called faking it until you become it. And it's because it follows this pattern. If your behaviours change and your outcomes change, it will go back to these beliefs and it will start to change these beliefs. It won't do it the first time, it won't do it the second time, it won't do it the third time, because these are ingrained, as we talked about. But the more you consistently change your behaviours, challenge yourself to focus on what you can control and what is important to you, the more you change and chip away at those beliefs, bit by bit by bit by bit, until one day you find that your beliefs are starting to change, your attitudes towards the world are starting to change, and this bit gets easier and easier and easier. And the easiest way to think about it is not to think about it, is just fucking do it. Okay? It is not an easy thing to do, but actually taking that step to first start to understand who you are, act, and then become is massively important. So who the fuck is your authentic self? Well, it's not some perfect version of you that you're yet to attain. It is not a multiple version of your personality. It is not something that is to be discovered on a beach in Bali. Your authentic self is the person who shows up, who is true to their core values and their core character in everything that they do, that tries to understand themselves and the world and to act like the person that they are. Because as you do that, if you practice and you continue to do it again and again and again, you then become the person that you want to be. Because this person is the person that is not perfect. They're not the one that stands up there and goes, I'm going to get everything right. They're the ones that get it wrong and go, I'm going to keep going. They're the ones that say, shit, I've done that wrong. I'm going to learn from this and I'm going to get it right next time. They're the ones that gets up every morning, that looks in the mirror and goes, I'm going to do it today and I'm going to keep going. So this is my invitation to you. Don't wait until you feel confident. Act now, start doing it, get yourself up, start making those phone calls, start talking to people, start doing those 60-second pitches, even if you get up and you are shaking. Because if you do, you will become this person that you really want to be, the person in the back of your mind that is connected to everything that is important to you. And it is not created just by waking up one day and being there. It is created step by step, with one brave step after another. Thank you very much.